Hi everyone, this is Dasha Langue, and today we'll talk about English tenses. We'll discuss what they are, why there are 12 of them, which ones are most frequently used, and how to actually learn them. All right, let's start with what English tenses are. So, in basic terms, tenses are forms of verbs that situate an event in a time. So, they just tell us when something happens. English speakers generally talk about three broad time categories: present, past, and future. So, why are there 12 tenses? If English essentially has present, past, and, in a sense, future, why do textbooks say there are 12 tenses? The answer is because English also uses something called aspect. So, aspect adds extra information about the state of an action. For example, whether it's ongoing, completed, or repetitive. The aspects in English are progressive or continuous for ongoing actions and perfect for completed actions. We can also merge the two together and we get perfect continuous. And then there's simple, which is kind of like the zero aspect. So it's the base form of each tense. So we combine tense and aspects to create specific verb forms. For example, present plus simple, present, simple. So we have simple, continuous, perfect, perfect, continuous. There are four of them, and then we multiply it by 3, future, present, past, and we get 12. These combinations are what many people refer to as 12 English tenses. I know it's not often done, but sometimes it can be helpful to separate the idea of tense and aspect when learning. So, tense tells you whether an event is past, present, or future, so it tells you when it happens. And then aspect tells you what kind of time, right? Is it right now? Did it already finish? Or did it start in the past and it's still going on? So they have two separate meanings. Future, past, and present tell us when it happens, but then simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tell us like how exactly. So it adds on information onto present, future, and past. So, yes, technically there are 12, but don't think of them as 12 completely different tenses. No, they are all connected. Let's take continuous, for example. Present continuous or present progressive is an action happening in the present right now. But then let's take past continuous. It's an action that was going on at a specific moment in the past, and it was also continuous. So they are all very similar. Same with future continuous, right? It's going to be an event at a specific time in the future that will be ongoing. They all connect. They also have similar forms. Like continuous, it's gonna be be, like M is R in the present. In past continuous, it's still gonna be be. It's just gonna be its past form. So was were, and then in the future, it's still gonna be be, but its future form will be. So it's the same form. It has a similar meaning. The differences are just when exactly it happens: present, past, or future. Okay, so maybe that is a little easier to understand. Now let's talk about which tenses are actually common and used more frequently. If you are an advanced learner, then yes, mastering 12 tenses is maybe a good idea to keep improving your English. However, some tenses are used far more frequently than others. In fact, like half of the tenses cover more than 90% of tense usage in English. Present simple is the most common, covers about a half or even more than a half of English tenses usage. Then we have past simple. Then we go with future simple, present perfect, present continuous, and past continuous. These are the 6 tenses I would suggest to focus on. I know people often say just 5, present simple, past simple, future simple, present perfect, present continuous. A lot of people don't usually include past continuous in that, but I've actually noticed that past continuous is very frequently used. I use it all the time. A lot of people around me use it all the time. You can very frequently hear it in movies, TV shows. So it is quite frequently used. Of course, it's not going to be used as frequently as present continuous, but it's still pretty frequent. Then, after that, if you already know them, you already mastered them, Then you can go on to learning present perfect continuous and past perfect, and then future continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect. I will say to you though, I don't think I've ever heard anyone use future perfect continuous. And that's like, I mean, I've used it in grammar tests before. That's pretty much it. I don't think I've ever used it anywhere else, and I don't think I've ever heard it. Not to say that it's never going to be used. You might sometimes hear it, but it's probably not the tense you need to focus on from the start. Okay. Same with the past perfect continuous, future perfect. Those are the tenses that are used far less frequently. Honestly, if your goal is to just speak English at an intermediate level, to be able to get around and travel, then you probably are not going to need them. If your goal is more academic and you want to move to an English speaking country, or you live in an English speaking country, you want to have a professional life, then yes, maybe that's when you would like to learn other tense forms. But in everyday life, you probably are going to be fine without some of them. So focus on the ones that are more frequent first, and the rest can be learned as you advance or as the need arises. So here are some tips. First of all, learn in context. So don't just learn the uses. Look at examples. Look where they're used, how they're used, what else comes next to them. Some signal words are extremely helpful. So the whole context of a tense use, look at that. Then try to replicate those uses. Try to create your own examples so that your brain remembers it better, it builds more connections. Next, of course, focus on meaning and use. Every combination of tense and aspect, they have a core meaning or function. So when you learn a tense, also learn why and when we use it, not just how to form it. So, for example, past continuous is often going to be used to set the scene, like it was raining when I came home. It was raining, it sets the scene for something atmospheric. We're thinking about the past, and we're also thinking about a continuous action. We can picture in our head how it was raining. So we can picture it was a continuous action. It sets the scene, it sets this atmosphere. So that's one of the uses. Okay. So maybe visualize it a little too. That can help. The next one is to compare and contrast tenses. So, a lot of confusion comes from not seeing the differences between tenses that seem similar. Try studying tenses in pairs or groups, like present perfect and past simple together, future with will and future with going to together. Present simple comes very close to present continuous, for example, and then try contrasting them. What's the difference? Make sure that you understand the difference. Then, of course, practice, practice, practice. Use the tenses that you learn actively. Do speaking or writing exercises where you deliberately practice a certain tense, or you deliberately not only practice just one tense, but you create sentences where you can put two tenses together so you can contrast them. That also actually helps your brain remember it better. Another thing is you can use timelines and visuals, kind of like these ones. Some people are very visual and they can remember things better. And like when they see a picture and they can just basically ingrain the picture in their brains. I sometimes do that. So think of something like that. How can you make it visual for you? Another tip is to be patient and build up. I've seen it so many times that in the beginning it's very difficult to understand certain tenses, especially like present perfect. But then things become more clear the more you learn because you witness many different sentences, you see many different examples, you start using it more, and then it becomes more clear, especially with present simple, present continuous. Those are usually one of the two most difficult tenses to learn because people usually learn them first. But then when it comes to past simple, they can relate to present simple. Past continuous, they can relate to present continuous. And then things start making more sense. So be patient, it will come to you as long as you keep going. In conclusion, English tenses can sometimes be difficult, but don't fear the number 12. Focus first on the key tenses that everyone uses daily. With practice, things will start making so much more sense. Comment below which other questions you have about learning tenses, and don't forget to subscribe to see my next videos where I will talk about each tense separately. Thank you for watching.